Hello there. This is where the fun begins.
Hey there guys, Unofficial Star Wars here. I hope you're all doing well, and in this video we're going to be taking a step back from The Mandalorian Season 3 and be talking about the next Star Wars movie as we have some news on it. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and hop right on into it. In this video we're going to be taking a read from the Direct's article. I'll have their article linked in the description down below for you guys to check out there as well. As they read, it is unfortunate that the next Star Wars movie suffers a major setback. And to be honest with you guys, I'm not even fazed by it all that much anymore at this point. Of course, it should go without saying though, it's rather disappointing that we get these types of announcements and updates and then it just kind of falls off with one announcement saying that, oh, this isn't happening anymore. However, that isn't necessarily fully the case. Lucasfilm ran into some major setbacks with its next theatrical release in the Star Wars universe. Fans haven't seen a Star Wars movie on the big screen since 2019's Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker, as Lucasfilm attempts to move into new adventures outside of the Skywalker saga. And so those efforts haven't been very easy either. However, as an already planned Star Wars movie is set for 2025 and slated for it, has been facing more than its fair share of problems, while multiple new Disney Plus properties have been produced and released in the last few years. So while Star Wars strives on Disney Plus, it very much struggles when it comes to its movies. And even then, trying to get these projects, these films up and out of the air and get them really going and moving is even a struggle. And with two other new movies from a galaxy far, far away already facing the axe with no signs of improvement on the horizon, the new 2025 outing is facing a whole new set of issues with its production crew. This being said, the Star Wars 2025 movie loses its head writers. Above the Line revealed that both Damon Lindelof and Justin Britt Gibson have left their upcoming Star Wars movie that is for 2025, which both of them are already initially set to write ahead of the film's 2025 release. The pair of writers reportedly gave a draft of the film to Disney and Lucasfilm in mid-February, but left the project only days after that happened. It appears that Lucasfilm already has a new writer in line for this mystery movie as well, although the name wasn't revealed quite yet. And so, this new story, which will be directed by Ms. Marvel's Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy, is currently slated to start production in February of next year, 2024, ahead of its December 19th, 2025 release date, which is something that could very well work, although my only fear is that it would feel rushed because they're bringing in these new writers just now. And also, from a film perspective, I've never really thought it made sense to have separate writers from separate directors. I always thought it would make more sense and even then be easier to have the same director that was also like the same writer. Pretty much how we see Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau with the Mandoverse, a majority of those episodes are written and directed by the pair of them. Although of course there's plenty of other movies out there outside of the Star Wars realm that have separate writers and directors, and those movies come out perfect. And also above the lines, Jeff Snyder also clarified further over on Twitter, explaining that Obaid-Chinoy is still in line to direct the film and that it will be set to be Lucasfilm's next Star Wars movie. This year all being said, how will the new setback affect the Star Wars slate? Now, considering that this 2025 Star Wars movie already has its new writer set, it's still disconcerting knowing that its original screenwriters wound up leaving their work unfinished, particularly with Damon Lindelof's credentials and the passion that he showed for this post-Skywalker saga adventure. Now, something that we did know regarding the plot details of his Star Wars movie is that it would be taking place after the events of The Rise of Skywalker, and while still taking place within the Skywalker saga realm of things there as well, maybe potentially continuing on the overall Skywalker journey, I think, to a point. Anyway, Lindelof was originally hired for the project in March of last year, a fact that only leads to a number of questions about why he and Justin Britt Gibson left the movie so abruptly, less than a year before it's scheduled to begin production next year. And while Ms. Marvel director Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy is nothing to sneeze at after her impressive success with the MCU, she now stands as the only creative attached to Lucasfilm's first Star Wars movie in what will have been 6 years after The Rise of Skywalker. So this year all being said, why did exactly Damon Lindelof and Justin Britt Gibson as writers for the next Star Wars movie in 2025 leave, especially so abruptly? Well, what I've been hearing around is that it's simply creative differences, and that's nothing new. With every other Star Wars movie announcement and having their directors or their writers leave, or having those overall movies just canned and kind of canceled and never going to be happening, it's always said and pointed back to the direction of that there was creative differences between Lucasfilm and those writers or those directors. Specifically, also what I hear is with Kathleen Kennedy. Now, of course, you guys know me, no hate, no shade towards Kathleen Kennedy. Of course, she has her ups and downs, but for the most part, I think that she has been doing rather fine, and I also do hear that she could be leaving by the summer of this year as, you know, Lucasfilm's president, and having somebody else new move in there, I think is something that could be needed. This also reminds me, a couple of months ago here on the channel, we discussed and talked about how one of the head, I guess, like creative chairmen for Lucasfilm and their movies, rather than, you know, over on their Disney Plus side of things, which is usually, you know, Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni, whoever the individual was that was like in kind of control of like overviewing, I think essentially is the word I'm looking for, of the Lucasfilm Star Wars movies, had actually left the company, and that was a very hopeful thing, I think, for a lot of Star Wars fans out there, seeing that then they would finally be able to have these movies get off the air and actually get off the ground and actually get into motion here and actually turn into something. And we got pretty far with this movie. I have to give it props to this overall movie for Damon Lindelof. I feel bad for him. He's a very big Star Wars fan. But I also have to say that it is, of course, disappointing that it's what creative differences make these writers and these directors want to leave. But it also does show that true passion that these individuals do have for the Star Wars universe, a galaxy far, far away. Is that, of course, if they're willing to just downright quit and leave it after having worked on it for the last year at this point, and just say, you know what, I'm out, we have our creative differences, I'm going to move on to my next project, it really does show that these are the right people that they are picking. It's just somebody is roadblocking them, essentially, and I think that somebody would have to be Kathleen Kennedy, because as I had mentioned, whoever their supervisor over on the Star Wars movie side of things, or Lucasfilm movie side of things, because Lucasfilm does a little bit more than just Star Wars movies, with the new Indiana Jones movie releasing in the summer of this year, it's hopeful to see that the Indiana Jones movie on Lucasfilm side of things actually get out and like in rolling and everything like that. It gives hope for Star Wars, because of course they're the same company. And so also recently talked about by Disney CEO Bob Iger also had talked about and explained how the disappointing box office returns from recent years gave them a pause on making another Star Wars movie. This is something that he recently talked about and discussed in a recent interview, something I will discuss later here on the channel, so hit that subscribe button and that notification bell to be notified for when that video does come out. But he essentially said that he wants to be proud of what they make next for the Star Wars movie, and they really want it to be proper, they want it to be right, and they really want to take their time with it. So it is clear that the studio wants to give the fans that something to be proud of, that they want to put out, something that's full on, you know, full circle and everything. And now with no definitive signs pointing to when the new writer for this story will be revealed, although it is hopeful that they do have a new writer already, Star Wars' return to the big screen will also continue to be a topic fans look at with some concern going forward, as we have ever since the rise of Skywalker. Now from there, that is where the article concludes, and as I had mentioned at the beginning of this video, I have this article linked in the description down below for you guys to check out there as well. Of course, I would love to hear all of your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. What do you guys want to see with the next Star Wars movie coming out in 2025? Your thoughts and opinions on Damon Lindelof leaving as the writer for this overall film. I would love to hear all of your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. And of course, this has been Unofficial Star Wars. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Have a great one, guys. May the Force be with you as always. Peace out.